Hello and welcome to the September edition of Putting Out Fires. I'm Dennis Rubin, your interim fire chief, and it's my honor to provide some information to you in our fire stations that's up to date, keep you informed, and keep you engaged. Today we have two incredible guests that's going to talk about an amazing story, so sit back, relax, maybe find yourself a bowl of popcorn, and let's have some fun discussing putting out fires. With us today is firefighter John Harris, who was involved recently in an automobile accident and is in the recovery process. It's just amazing to look at you and see the condition that you're in, knowing where you were. And at the time, our acting chief was acting in the fire chief's capacity, was Chief McLaine, I believe, when he was injured. So he's going to be asking and answering some questions in this session as well. So with that, I'm going to ask John first, what happened?
In May, I was in a really bad accident. I don't remember much from the accident. I remember taking my wife to dinner for Mother's Day, and I woke up 3 weeks later in the hospital.
Wow. With that said, I guess I should ask you first, how are you doing?
I'm doing a lot better now. I'm going to therapy 3 days a week. The only thing I'm dealing with now is a broken elbow. And once I get that healed up, I should be back to the rig soon.
We're excited to have you back, needless to say. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, how's your wife doing?
She's doing great. She's been there helping me through my recovery. Her injuries weren't as bad as mine. So
good, and she's back
recovered.
to doing
She's
life
to,
as
oh,
normal?
Yeah, she's back to
And I had a chance to visit and meet your sons. How have they done through this whole process?
They've been a big help.
Good.
They helped me around the house.
I can tell you when I visited, they're full of energy.
Oh yeah,
yes sir.
They keep me busy.
Yes sir.
That was my entertainment through this whole thing.
I tell you, I can see why. They were a lot of fun when we visited. Chief McLaine, you were in the hot seat, so to speak, when this accident happened. I know probably at first you weren't aware that I was headed your way, and eventually that information came out that I was coming to work. But give me some perspective from essentially the acting chief of the department, the deputy fire chief's position when this incident occurred.
It's always alarming when you look at the call notes and you realize it's one of your own that have gotten themselves into a situation that's just simply out of their control. One of the major things that we wanted to do as a department is make sure that we came together to help out our brother, John Harris, to make sure that he and his family were able to get through this tragedy as seamless as possible.
And without a doubt, I know you took the lead on that, made certain that the shifts were covered, working with Mallory Super, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and a number of other individuals I can name. Assistant Chief Brian Hendon, he took the brunt of the work along with Mallory Super. They were able to come together. They were able to get issues and things worked out, logistical things worked out that allowed John Harris to be able to come back and be in the seat that he's sitting in right now. And I'm actually very proud to say that just as a family, KCKFD was able to come together to really, really help out.
And that's the important times when it's necessary for us to come together, isn't it?
Yes, very, very necessary. And one thing, without a doubt, I would say about this department, regardless of some of our differences and some of the spats and things that we've had, stuff like that, we always manage to come together when someone's in need.
Clears the slate and everybody works together as one unified team. And as I always like to say, together we can get anything accomplished.
Definitely.
Without a doubt. John, I don't know whether you remember when you first met me. Would you have any recollection of that at all?
I think I remember. I think I was at that time. I was kind of alert.
You were alert. I walked into the room. There were 2 or 3 practitioners helping you. As always, it's tough to get a spot in a room when somebody was as injured so severely as you were, in that there were people changing dressings, taking blood pressures, doing all the things that it takes to make sure that you were well. But they told me to stick around, and of course I did, that you were going to walk down the hallway. And I think that was the first time you had gotten out of bed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell me that experience.
So at that time, I really didn't know how severe my car wreck was. And I just remember all the doctors and nurses coming in, just amazed that I was up walking after going through what I went through. And you was there to see me walk. And once I found out how bad my injuries were, and I mean, I see why they were amazed. They was kind of like, there's no way I should be up walking and doing the things I was doing at that time because of how severe my injuries were.
Anytime I look at you, I apologize because I know I'm going to have a smile on my face. That day, the 100-foot walk was more pain than I've ever seen. Maybe not ever, but you were in tremendous pain, by the way. I don't know whether you remember that or not. And as we were walking down the hall, about every 10 or 12 paces, the practitioners, I believe it was a nurse and I believe it was a physical therapist, or maybe it was an occupational therapist, not that it matters, but it was two great ladies of medicine. And they would ask you, how are you doing? And you'd kind of grumble just a little bit. And at about the 100-foot mark, you said, enough.
Yeah.
So we turned around, and when we got back to the room, watching you get settled in the bed, I tried to help as much as I could, but those ladies knew exactly what they were doing. And boy, were you in some severe pain at that point. I don't know whether you would remember. Actually, I hope that you forgot all of that.
Yeah, I know.
But with the flailed chest, with the other various broken bones, having had a chest tube to keep your lungs functioning, boy, you were in tough shape, sir.
Yeah, we're. I remember most of that part. I mean, I had the support that I needed, and that was from my firefighter family, my family that came in to help me, my wife. Everybody played a part in doing that. I told myself every day I got up to take those walks. I want to get home to my kids. I don't want to let them see me like this. So the pain you see me in, I went through it to get where I'm at now.
We were really thankful that everything worked out just the way that it should have, and then the outcome is so positive. Of course, when I was alerted by Chief McLaine, I thought most likely or perhaps factually that you were not going to be around, to be honest. The injuries were just incredible, but I think I'm hearing you say the message, there is always hope. It takes a lot of hard work, but 100% recovery is expected. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah.
We're excited about that. Chief, one thing that I wanted to ask you about is I was told at the intersection where this crash occurred has been the site of many, many other vehicle accidents. In fact, when it was brought to my attention, after John, I believe we've had either 2 or 3 more crashes that resulted in 2 fatalities. I don't know if you can speak about that. Quite frankly, I know we sent a note off to the Public Works Director to take a look at doing some road improvements and some lighting, especially at night. But do you have an opinion of that?
I don't know the exact numbers on how many motor vehicle collisions or motor vehicle accidents have happened at that particular spot. However, I do know that most people that do get into wrecks in that particular area, things just simply don't fare well. And I'm with you, getting with Public Works, possibly redoing the area, maybe more signage, more lighting could possibly help that, and letting people know that is kind of a dangerous type of area. Fortunately for us, in our situation here, our brother John Harris, he fared a lot better than most have coming out of that situation.
What a long road back, though, and again, I'm sorry I smile when I see you, but boy, oh boy, it's just good to have you in the room. I would dare say, and John, I'll ask you, because of the roads and night and things like that, always wear your seatbelt. Fair statement?
Fair statement.
Slow down. I know it seems like when you look at the highway signs that 70 is simply a suggestion. But it's the speed limit. It really is, folks. So try to not overspeed and always keep your distance between other cars would be some recommendations. And if you're saying, come on, Rube, knock it off. Well, we not only want to make sure that you go home to your families from firefighting, but while you're out doing things in the community, driving your family from a night home out to dinner, boy, we don't want you to get into a wreck there as well. We need every single member. We want every single member. We love every single member. And to follow some safety rules, both on and off the job, are pretty critical. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
Any comments to that? You're a man of few words, I can tell.
Well, that night I did have my seatbelt on, but my seatbelt snapped from what I was told. But no telling how bad my wreck would have been if I didn't have my seatbelt on.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, that's pretty important. But yeah, I agree with everything you said.
You're living proof. So again, we're just so glad to have you. What's a typical day for you look like now?
Well, now I'm down at the shop. I go to work from 8 to 5. I get off work. Either I go out with my kids, practice football. I'm at football practice. I coach my kids' team. So it's nice to be out there with the little guys. They all cheer me on. They're happy. They see me when I first came out, too. I mean, most days I go to therapy for an hour, 3 days a week.
How tough is therapy?
It's been pretty tough just to get the elbow back to, they hoping to get it back to 100%, but right now I don't have a lot of movement in my elbow. But
the device
painful.
that you wear limits the travel, the ability for you to move your elbow so that it will completely heal. Is that a fair way of describing it?
Well, this device, they got it completely open, and they said I'm right at about 90. So
on the range of motion?
On the range of
Wow,
motion, so that's
excellent.
pretty. Because when I first started therapy, I mean, I had absolutely no way to bend my arm. So therapy it's going good. It's looking positive. I went seeing my surgeon on Friday, and he told me too it's looking good. He think I have 100% range in my elbow. They might have to do one more surgery just to get some of the scar tissue out. But he said if I do the things that I need to do, they shouldn't have to. So it should come down to how hard I'm working, doing what I need to do at home. But yeah, I'm expecting to have 100% recovery.
I'm so proud of that. And again, when I saw you in that first visit, you had a cast and, of course, some bandages, and I know they did some operations. And with that said, your arm was useless, for lack of a better. And I think at that point, you'd probably had some pain medication on board. You may or may not remember it. And when they touched your arm to put it on top of your lap, it was not good.
Yeah,
It almost wanted to make me cry watching the amount of pain and the wincing that you were in. So again, I'm so glad to see you in the condition that you're in, to come back and truly beat the odds, because that's exactly what you have done. So we are all praying for you. We'll continue to help you in any way that we can as an organization, and just proud to have you back. But I think it would be important to close with the fact, again, wear your seatbelts on and off duty. They save lives. Try to slow down. I think when you can't go at least 70 miles an hour here, that's described as a traffic jam. I can tell you, Chief, in Washington, you could never do 70 anywhere. It's just that much traffic. Remember that when you're in an area with minimal lighting and a lot of curves and turns, to again slow down. Certainly we're asking you to do that at work, but we could also close by saying, please do that at home. Any last comments, any last thoughts from you?
I just want to tell all my fire family, I really appreciate everything you guys did for me. Got nothing but positive feedback from my family. They were there for my family while I was going through this. And I want to say thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. And all you guys, I really appreciate it. If you need me for anything, give me a holler.
You know, the last closing thought I'll have is I visited you 3 times, and the third time you were not there. So when I walked into the hospital and looked in your room, I found the first nurse that I could find, probably the charge nurse for the wing. She said, John is gone.
Yeah.
Gone, though. I mean, she could have picked better words than that. She said, well, as she looked at the shock on my face, and she indicated that you'd be back for an operation on Monday. So, again, we're out of operations. No more operations are necessary. We just have to keep working through.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. With that said, this closes another edition of Putting Out Fires. Thank you for all that you do out in our stations. Thank you for what you do for our community. Please, please never forget our mission statement. First is to prevent harm, and that is both on and off the job to you, your families, and anyone that you help out on the street. Next is to survive and thrive. And I think we're watching John go through the process of surviving and thriving. Makes me very, very excited. I got to get back out to your house and see how those boys are doing one day. And then finally, be nice and be kind. Be nice simply is to take care of folks, hold open the door for them, be respectful, be patient, and then be kind puts be nice into action. So thank you for all you do out there. This is Dennis Rubin saying, stay safe, and we'll see you soon on the next edition of Putting Out Fires. And now it's your turn to speak directly to the fire chief with burning questions. The first burning question today comes from
Brandon Maples, firefighter paramedic, Station 3, third shift. My question is, Chief, since you're the interim chief, we're going to be hiring a new chief as your replacement. Do you think that there is an internal candidate that you're looking at, or will it possibly be an external candidate?
firefighter paramedic Maples. That's an incredibly good question. As you may have guessed, the county administrator is expecting me to do an evaluation of each of the top individuals. Perhaps we'll go down as far as battalion chief and list their strengths and their weaknesses. Whether the person will be selected next to follow me will be from the inside of the organization or the outside of the organization will be clearly on the shoulders of our incredible county administrator. And I say that because he's working so hard along with the assistant county administrators to get our fire department on the right track. So at this point, there hasn't been any discussion about starting the search process. I'm certainly here at least through the end of the year, and we'll take that as it comes. But I hope that helps. I would submit to you that there are many people internally qualified, but there's also many people externally qualified, and the final decision will not belong to me, but I will certainly provide my feedback. Thanks, and please be safe out there on Pumper 3 on the third shift.
My name is Alyssa Harris. I'm a firefighter trainee for KCKFD, and my question is, are there any continuous efforts being made to decrease the gender gap throughout the department?
Elisa Harris, that's an incredible question, and thank you for asking. The gender gap is real in several ways. Thank goodness we pay the same salary for the same work, so we don't have to worry about that. In terms of numbers, our fire department is going to continue to tackle the issue of diversity, equity, and inclusion. With that said, soon we'll have a assistant fire chief's position that will be working on that every day of the week to begin to close what I think the gap in your mind is numbers. When you take a look at the demographics of any community, it's approximately 50% men and approximately 50% women, give or take a few percent in either direction. So with that said, I know we've got a lot of work to do. Thank goodness with Camp Fury, with the great members that we have started that process, but by no means are we finished. And I would say the same thing as it relates to our African American members, as well as Asian members, as well as Hispanic members, and you get the idea. We'll be a much better organization as we continue to diversify, and we're absolutely committed to it. I hope you had a chance to see Dr. Kennedy and his wife, Dr. Kennedy, present our first annual DEI presentation, but it was incredible, and it just underlines everything in your question. So with that said, please be safe out there, and thank you for sending in that question. All right, that has it. That's a wrap, as we say in the business. Truly appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to be a part of Putting Out the Fires.